Hmm. Ah, Godspeed, Noble Bean. Hello! Oh my god, hi everybody. We're back. I'm back. I'm here. I'm back. My body is destroyed in a very good way. But I can make it! We can do this! We can do Dungeons and Dragons thanks to the sacrifice of that Noble Bean. I am Slappy Meats. Hi. Hello, it's my channel. You can tell because it's in the fucking URL. Did you look? Hi, we're here. I'm also Syldov, the Dhampir Rogue. Is the sweetest, most trustworthy little blood-drinking twink. I mean, cum-drinking I mean, silver-tongued twink you've ever met.
Yes, but who are you playing?
And
Ah,
tee-hee-hee.
Tongue or
Hey.
silk-tongued?
Well, let's move on. That was Lolo. He's also here.
Hello, everyone. Is Lolo your favorite tentacle thing? And I'm playing one who leans, the druid cleric mushroom folk. And we're gonna talk to people, and I'm good at that.
Yeah. And then also, we heard of Selnica. Selnica's here. Hi, Selnica.
Hello, I'm playing Felony, the half-elf paladin who's currently on mute, so I'm gonna let Lolo do all the talking.
We will more than make up for it in terms of sheer volume and sometimes deliciousness of words. Speaking of fey deliciousness, we've got Moonlight Kitsune.
Greetings all. I play Yozora, Team Warlock, Scholar, and generally the team babysitter.
And then we might need a cat sitter because we've also got our precious Banya boy, Banya.
I am forever your Tabaxi Ranger, Wither.
No offense, but just from past experience, babysitting and cat sitting aren't really all that different. Just you don't have to change one.
Yeah. Yeah, in a manner of speaking.
But we can do some damage.
But bringing all of us together, letting all of us come together, we have our wonderful, magnificent, ever so generous, magnanimous, and beneficent DM, who is just so good smelling and wonderful and all that probably feels nice when he gives head pats too, right? A DM who would do nothing but a kindness to his entire party. Iron Mug. And thank you for the sub, Bunny.
hail, travelers. Welcome back once more. We've been hanging out with a bunch of very friendly villagers out along the Gold Road, which is this road that goes from the outskirts of the Free Territories to the heart of it, the city of Bergraeus, where the coin lords hold sway. One of these nice little quaint villages along that Gold Road, Ponagar, is where we've been hanging out recently because they got robbed. So we looked into that, found a few things that were perhaps at least a little bit surprising. A few things that might have been as expected. And we did, in fact, ultimately find the bandits responsible for the robbery. And we robbed them right back, we did. We made out quite like bandits. Returning to town, Dove had a quaint little. It wasn't perhaps the dinner date that might have originally been set up and planned for, but it was a nice little sit-down chat over drinks at the bar that maybe has led to some other things. We'll find out. So we're getting to that today. The rest of the group spent some time just relaxing and resting, recuperating from the ordeals and the travels they've been through, and spent a little bit of time speaking with one of the locals, who it seemed had been working in some fashion with the bandits, and now is, since they've been caught, I suppose, understandably a little bit reserved. But now, our group has gathered once more after Dove has returned, and they're heading off into the more wildernessy outskirts, further away from this main road, this gold road that it's called. Tucked back in amongst the woods, there's this nice, quaint little farmhouse where the Midshapers, a supposed old man Midshaper, and then, of course, the daughter, Alicia Midshaper, are known to have taken up residence so that they're close to town, but also far enough away that they have pretty guaranteed privacy. But it seems that there may be something going on here that others might not have expected. After all, these are the ones who are responsible for depositing into the local bank's vault an item of extreme power, and not exactly good power. A copy of the Book of Vile Darkness has supposedly been secured in the local vault by these individuals, and a large gold disc, just a little bit larger than a coin, that seems to have some sort of teleportation or transportation ability to it. Both these items belong to the Midshapers and had been secured within the vaults. Now, of course, our friendly local rabbit folk friend had pocketed this coin and been maybe thinking about doing something with it someday, but has not done so yet. And now, that coin is currently in the possession of Saildove. So, we'll see what all's going on, see what happens today as our group makes their approach to this nice, it seems like a nice little area. It's very quaint. There's a little wisp of smoke coming out of a chimney. As they've already made note, they've also got, a nice little patch of crops growing. Looks pretty good as far as you can tell. And appropriate that it was the druid that noticed. So let's go ahead and get on to it.
Unpause.
Anti the pause.
I mean, I didn't know we were going to do this kind of roleplay.
No pause allowed? Sorry, Wither.
This appears to be the place in question.
Okay. Since I know that these people have supposedly deposited two very powerful magical items, can I do an Arcana check to see if there's what magic might be in the air?
Absolutely.
And
Get a
can
vibe
I?
check of that magic? Yeah, what's up?
Yep. Can I also take to the trees and take a look around, see if anything physical is noticed for like traps or anything of danger, so to speak?
Which tree you gonna climb?
The one directly to my right.
You could,
for
but
it.
it would be unbecoming of a social call.
Mhm.
Yeah, at least mine can be done subtly.
Yeah,
It's that time of
y'all
night where
see,
you might expect a cat in the trees.
Y'all see Wither heading over towards the tree, looking like they're getting ready to climb up in it.
While we're at it,
Mm-hmm.
can I, since we're sniffing the air, can I do some of that? I do some salacious empathy.
Absolutely. Yeah. Go ahead and make an insight check with advantage.
Want me to gust a wind at you to just really get it in there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just
Drive it all up in my nose.
Was that
yeah.
for me or for Saildove? Sorry.
That's for Dove.
Okay.
Go ahead and make an insight check with advantage. While you're up in the tree, if you'd like, go ahead and make a perception check as you take a look around.
Just blow that fuck stink up in my nose.
Yes.
I'm missing 10 Leonin points, and I'm not sure if I should be or if I'm just forgetting that I used them.
Yeah, you helped some people out.
Okay, good.
I want to say off the top of my head, those 10 points went to Healing Wither after he got stabbed several times.
I think there was that, and also
Yeah,
somebody
but
condition.
Yeah, but didn't we rest since then?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
rested.
well, short rest. There was a short rest.
Oh,
It was a short rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll wait for the results of the rolls, but I'll
Mm,
talk to
Absolutely,
talk to
absolutely. We'll start with Yazora's Arcana check. You take a moment and just get a feel for how the etheric energy in the area just seems to be resting, and it's a little bit excited here. It's not. You don't get a sense of anything bad or anything evil or anything like lurking or like there's no threats. But the magic in the area is just a little bit more excited. Like there's more of it. As far as your insight checks, you get a scent of at least one humanoid that you can smell. You've got a couple of different scents, like maybe one is, them before work or after work, or one is them, doing one thing or another. But it all seems to merge into one humanoid, at least as far as you can tell.
An active, like smells like an active humanoid. There's that mixing of pheromones that just permeates into the air from activity.
There's no, of course, of any note sensations of lust. You don't really pick up on any of that at all.
Shame.
Even even a little bit, like nothing. But there's definitely something that lives and habitates in the area. That much you're absolutely certain of.
frigid mages.
Oh no.
And Wither, up in the tree, you take a look around, and it's a nice, quaint little cottage. You can see beyond this side of it, you can see peeking out around the other side that they have a small garden on the back. You see small footpaths going to and from, leading in just about all directions all around. You don't notice any traps. You don't see anything sneaking up on you, so as far as you can tell, it seems to be safe.
As far as I can tell, Tom fucking Bombadil lives here. So,
Yeah.
Dev,
Yes.
this one has an idea. Would you give it the charming ring that we found in the cave?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Here.
But considering some conversational tactics are closed to this one and open to you, perhaps to be prudent. And I'm going to cast Eagle Splendor on Dove.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, nice.
Thank you. Let's make sure I can shuffle this pretty ring over to you.
You should be able to, if nothing else, you should be able to drag it from your sheet to chat, and then the other person can drag it from chat onto their sheet.
Yeah, there we go.
So, how much of Yozora's fur did you steal so you can possibly cast Fox's Cunning later on?
I mean, you only had
Yeah, it
to
does
take it
say.
out of your
It does say
brush.
fur, feather from a beast.
All you had to do was take it off of your brush.
Yeah, just been collecting it
Yeah.
the whole time.
Just why is my brush always so clean?
Now that they know about the
No
secrets. Anyways. While that's going on, Yozora's gonna pipe up. The magic here is excited.
Oh, well, at least something is.
I can't sense anything inherent. Like, if we take 5 steps forward, we're gonna trigger a fireball or anything like that. But it's like there's more magic in the air than there normally is. I can't
This-
really get a better feel on it at this moment.
This could simply be caused by the presence of magical practitioners.
Not unlikely. From what I've understood, these, the Midshapers are reasonably well liked among the town. And if they are particularly sociable, then they may be welcoming to our presence, at least at face value. We could probably work
Here's
with that.
hoping.
Bellamy would simply signal to Zelda, showing her eyes, then pointing at you all up to her ears, and then snap her finger.
Don't worry.
It-
I've always got my head on a swivel, I like to think.
While this one appreciates the development of new means of communication, there are simpler ways.
Bellamy
This one-
shoots you with that glare.
This one would like to review our conversational plan.
I think you had the right of it when it comes to expressing concern about the fate of the general contents of the bank and asking about the book as a matter of course of our investigation. We have other, pat my pocket, we have other things in closer to our chest, quite literally, if they need to come up for some, I guess, topical leverage. But we'll lead with your professional approach.
This one had a thought about that. It would recommend presenting one of the items, either the coin or something magical we have some concern or doubt about, and present it in request for consultation. This would allow us to assess the attitude of these mages, and then perhaps we can advise mentioning the book or not.
Actually, initially, that was my, I guess, first inclination. Sure. I do have concerns about presenting it with the coin, as they. I've been known people to become quite defensive when being presented with something they thought was being placed for safekeeping. But it does sound like they've been toying with our little bunny boy.
As an alternative, perhaps they could provide insight as to the more divinatory function of Yuzora's sword.
If
Not
they
a bad
are on the
idea.
up and up.
Let's get a feel for them first.
Yeah.
And
Above the
for
table,
various
didn't Dove
things.
return the coin to the bunny? Because I'm blanking his name.
Uh-uh.
Not yet that I remember.
I do-
Dove giving something back.
Yeah, I think he kind of dangled it in front of him as like a treat for him, I believe.
I
a good way to
swear I
put that.
remember him giving it back, but
Mm-mm.
that might be me,
No, it
how
was-
I would
it-
run that situation.
It was
so.
presented but not given back.
Fair enough. Like
I
I said, that's how
assured
probably
him.
what I would have run it.
I gave him some assurance that I may seek it back into his hot little hand if he comes to work for us. If he's a good boy.
On that note, shall we proceed?
Should we start with the coin then? I think I'm willing to
Let's-
start with that.
Since it was theirs they put in there, yeah, I would suggest we do start there. We want to get a gauge on what their reaction would be to this.
It would be a good gauge, yes.
It is exactly the kind of thing I like to do. Shake the tree a little. People show their true colors when rattled, and if they do not expect someone like us to have some of their precious artifacts, that they seemed quite willing to tease and tempt Rokan with.
And
I'd like to see if this is exactly according to their plan or not.
indeed, our knowledge of its provenance should not be mentioned until a reaction is obtained.
Wait. We should not tell them that we know it's theirs, that it's from them.
This one believes this would present the most accurate interpretation of their reaction.
This is where I'm losing the thread slightly. Bringing this to their attention, because we know it's theirs, seemed to be the biggest foot in the door.
It appears to this one that there are no strangers to consultation regarding magical items.
Oh, well then fuck the coin. We keep that in
The coin is the advantage the coin presents would be to educate us as to their attitude. If we present it regarding a simple consultation and they dissimulate aspects of it that we know about, then we know that they will be lying to us.
That's good. Good then. I can certainly work with that. Evidently it was Alicia Midshaper who told Rokan about its abilities to begin with. Great. Then let's go.
I would also note that, as obvious as it is, we should make sure that that coin does not end up in any of their hands. With that ability to warp anywhere within known reality, as far as I can tell. That's...
Did I not tell you?
Hmm.
I know how to activate it.
Good.
And what the how so many poetic crafters just cannot help themselves but insert dramatic irony into its function. It's a flip of the coin to take your fate into your hands. So I do not think that wherever this is going to send you is on purpose.
Well, still, if I were assuming the worst case scenario here, if we were to be, about to be apprehended and, we consider that a fate worse than death, but we had this get out of jail free card, and all we knew is that very possible that the where we ended up would be safer, if you will, than...
I would not gamble my life on that at a heartbeat.
I wouldn't
oh
either.
my good not. Oh my goodness, no.
Either. But Yozora vaguely gestures towards the house. We don't know them.
One unknown for another, it would be.
And from what I've read, desperate people do desperate and quite possibly stupid actions.
I'll do my best to become neither. Look back. Coming?
We did sort of leave them behind, didn't we? As we talked.
Knock, knock, fucking knock.
There's the sound of movement boots among the house somewhere. You can hear like boots on wood, and there is a deep calls out, "1 second, be right there." And you can hear the sound of the footsteps approaching closer until finally they're right outside the door. The door opens just a little bit, and a woman peers out at you very curiously.
This one greets you. Does she peer out with a fucking crossbow?
Hi.
She does not have a crossbow in her hands at the moment, no.
Okay.
Well, there's someone from either
Oh
The
my.
Witcher or
Well-
Game of Thrones.
Fucking sup. Not the kind of flavor of Boris Weller I was expecting.
I dig it.
Mm-hmm.
Bellamy is a little more speechless than she was a minute ago.
What was their last names?
Midshaper.
This one greets you. Is this the Midshaper abode?
She stares at each of you quietly for a moment,
Hmm.
finally letting her gaze settle on one who leans, and her eyes narrow further.
Hmm.
This is the Midshaper residence. What business do you have here?
This one has heard from local residents that matters of the arcanes were to be brought here for elucidation.
And what manner it is you are hoping to get help with?
This one and its companions would like more information regarding a magical item.
As you may have heard within recent days, there has been some trouble regarding the prominent financial institution of the town.
I've heard
What?
Ned lost a bunch of money, yes.
A deliciously terse way to put it. Yes. Well, we assisted poor old Ned in recovering the riches and some artifacts that were taken by the bandits that had assaulted the bank, and among them was a very curious implement. A rather large coin depicting, and I produced the coin, depicting some inspiring and grave imagery.
She stares at the coin, then at you. And you're saying the bandits stole this?
It was pilfered, yes.
Well, I can
Never mind.
tell you about it, I suppose, if that is what you wish. But also, it is technically mine and should still be within the vault, at least I'd hope. If you are hoping to find information about it so you could later return it to the vault, I would be appreciative. Of course, you could leave it here and I would return it myself.
Oh, do not trouble yourself. We will take it back to where it belongs, yes. But more information would be greatly appreciated.
Of
Can
course.
Can I try to get a read on her, sort of gauge our reaction at seeing the coin?
Absolutely, go ahead and insight check that.
Same, but I want to taste what emotions are happening.
At advantage?
Yes, yeah, you have the item. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Thank the stars for that advantage.
Oops.
And then, yeah, go ahead, Dove. You also have advantage, I believe.
Yeah, because it's an
Okay.
emotion.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
The immediate emotion upon seeing the coin and hearing that it was stolen is very obviously concern. They don't even try to mask that. They are glad to see that it is recovered, but they are concerned that it was stolen in the first place. And you can also just get an easy read that they're still concerned that it is not where it should be. Further, one who leans, you get a little bit more of a sense from her as you read her that she is studying you and looking for the best places possibly to incapacitate you quickly. You get very much the feeling of being observed and drawn and measured.
Gotcha.
You're being sized up.
Time to hide behind the tank.
I mean, you're all within 5 feet of me, and I have my shield in hand.
I
But-
like her already.
With the concern on her face plain, she looks again at the coin, then at all of you. Very well. If you'd like to know more about it, then I can indeed share what I know.
It would be appreciated.
You would all step inside, and you wouldn't mind leaving my possession here with me after you leave?
Oh, the coin. Oh, we would
Mhm.
happily return it to the bank's vaults. On our way back to town. We are passing back through, of course.
Very well. Is that a lie?
I said vaults,
I mean,
so
we
yes. I am passing back through. I don't intend to take it back to the vault.
Deception is charisma, right?
It is.
Mhm.
So you have advantage
Mhm.
if that
You-
comes into play.
Above the table, it would have been easy if you said if that you would have left it in the chair of the bank staff.
Yes, true. I was able to dodge it the first time by saying putting it back where it belongs.
Mhm.
But this time I did say vault, so it is deception.
Go ahead, make that check with advantage.
Okay, not bad.
Not bad.
Oh, great. Good.
Her eyes narrow, and she nods, accepting your explanation. She takes a step back, motions quickly for you to also step back, shuts the door. You hear chains being moved. And Yuzora, make me an Arcana check.
One Arcana check coming up.
Okay.
Not the greatest it could be, but yeah.
And after a moment, the door opens once more. This time opening fully so that you can step inside. She nods, gesturing to the nearby table. Make yourselves comfortable.
This one thanks you for welcoming us into your home.
Of course.
Because it's one of my obsessive questions. The most important question. What's it smell like in here?
Well-oiled leather.
Yes! Yes! Ah! I was like, a rustic cabin, you might expect it to be earthy. You get like campfire and tea smells. But I was like, please tell me weapon oils. Yes. Fuck yes. Ah.
Machinery, oil. There's just a little bit of a burning kind of smell, like you would expect from a perhaps a soldering iron.
Cool. Thank you.
The table here is lined and decorated with various tools. The table itself, as you've noticed, does in fact have the bread on it. It also has a large pitcher of what appears to be hot water at this point. Not really, I guess it's more warm probably at this point. And then a large stein of beer as well.
Can I grab Wither and keep him to my right before he walks away too far?
Mm-hmm.
That's up to Wither. Wither, are you going to try and resist?
Well, I kind of want to be in a spot where I'm not standing on something. So, and with Yozora still not in, I
Yeah.
kind of wanted to make sure I gave plenty of space and not seem too forward to move too far towards the table, so to speak. So
Okay.
I
Right,
kind of feel like
Phil-
the corner is probably the best spot for me, I guess.
Follow me if he sees you try to resist, will simply lightly lightly poke you into one of the wounds she bandaged just
Mhm.
recently.
Hey! And I kind of just he kind of just winces a little bit and it's like, I'm fine. There's not. I'm not doing anything.
And in the interest of not dispensing with matters of polite conversation, this one would introduce itself. It is called One Who Leans. It is Druid of the Circle of the Final Rest.
Make me an insight check.
Hmm.
I really want to read that reaction. I'm going to use that inspiration.
Okay.
That's better.
Ooh.
She recognizes the circle, and she absolutely knows who and what and where.
Oh, hello.
Wither, also note, you are next to the door. Just FYI.
Oh, to the outside?
Yeah, that goes out into the garden.
Okay.
I mean, that's a good strategic position.
I figured it wouldn't be a problem, but I wanted you to be aware.
Fair
Yes,
There's
I am.
nowhere else for me to go, so I'm next to the door as well.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
I am Sayodov, a professional fact finder and interested party in many trades, including the requisition of information on magical goods. A pleasure to make your acquaintance. I am told Alicia was your name, and you live here with your father? Grandfather, perhaps.
I am Alicia Midshaper. You are correct. And no, not grandfather.
Yes. I am told by some of the townsfolk that you do drop in on occasion and and have quite the respected presence there. It is always a pleasure.
They have been kind to us as soon as we arrived, and it's been nice to have neighbors that we could trust for once. So yes,
Well,
it's been a mutually beneficial arrangement. Now, what is it you wish to know about my coin?
Anything you can tell us, really.
Such as
We
why
fear
would the...
we... Go ahead.
Sorry, Azoriel will pipe up, such as why these bandits who stole it, or those who stole it, would be interested in having it in the first place. I can sense it's magical, but not quite able to grasp its true power.
Well, from the stories that I had heard, the bandits had only made off with a bunch of money, gold, and some writs and some other deeds, I believe. So my guess would be they took this because it was large, round, and gold, and they figured it would probably be worth some money as well.
she screamed.
A likely eventuality. However, the person in charge of this group of bandits had in its possession a list of magical items. Perhaps they had more insight into such an item.
Well, I suppose that is entirely possible. Do you happen to have the list with you?
This one does not know it offhand, but a pair of daggers was observed. Their power seemed to be one of teleportation from one to the other.
Well, that does sound like a powerful little trinket. Unfortunately, I don't know anything about these daggers. They're not familiar to me, unfortunately. But they were stolen from the vault as well.
Not likely. It would appear this individual had them in its possession before attempting any of the robberies.
Oh.
It looked like these teleportation daggers were an integral part of their potential vault intrusions and incursions.
You believe that is how they got into the vault? And possibly back out?
It would seem to be merely child's play to do exactly that, especially given the method of accepting magical items with some amount of anonymity that our dear Ned has taken into practice.
She smiles a little bit at that, this wry grin as she offers a subtle nod. His discernible managerial hand is appreciated at times, but I suppose it could be problematic as well. Tell me, was there anything else of any significant notice that was missing from the vault? After all, I did have other things in it.
What did you? We were able to peruse the catalogs that, of course, did not have the names attached, but did check out with the opportunity we had to view inside, and many items were still in place, mercifully.
Oh, that is a mercy indeed.
Could I ask what else you had in there that was of significant value? Something with more teleportation abilities, one might infer, given that these daggers were of great interest, and many mischievous minds can do wonders with teleportation.
No, the teleportation rods, I believe, are actually a family heirloom from somebody who lives nearby. No, I had a foldable canoe in there that, well, not especially valuable or powerful, but is still something that I would like to be able to retrieve when the time comes. Should I ever want to cross a lake or a river of some sort?
As one does, yes.
Hang on a second. Did anybody refresh me? Because I might have missed something. Did we mention the actual rod of teleportation?
Not that I heard, but I stepped away to deal with my cat for a second.
No,
But-
but apparently she knows it's in there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so which
That
is
was what
interesting.
was-
That is quite of note.
Okay, I was that pinged. I was like, did I say something? Because it's possible.
And I'm waiting to hear more. Did that seem to be the end of her sentence?
There was also a pair of old cufflinks that could allow you to move with a little bit more grace and speed. Of course, you'd have to be wearing a wonderful suit and both cufflinks to benefit from them.
Oh, fashionable and practical.
Indeed.
I can respect that. Now,
This one.
recalling, did we happen to see those objects?
Those
And see-
objects were in the vault, yes.
They were in there, okay, and we read it in the catalog as well.
Yeah.
Very good. Those were accounted for. Is there anything else?
Oh, I suppose the old man might have had a thing or two in there, but you'd have to ask him.
Oh, well, is he available for comment at this time of night? I do
I'm afraid
apologize
he's
for the late
nowhere to be found at the
call
moment.
visit. Oh, an expected absence, or simply a time of evening where one would be taking rest?
She shrugs a bit. He does tend to come and go as he pleases.
I cast a not deliberately conspicuous, but no attempt to mask a look towards one who leans. Just
In all
His
fairness,
business is his own. We would not wish to disturb. We simply seek advice. And
Well, of
perhaps, well, things in order. What is it you could tell us about the coin?
She shifts her weight from one foot to the other, leaning against the back of the chair with her hand gripping it, and her other hand moves to her hip, pushing her coat out of the way. And you can see that she is, in fact, carrying the crossbow that is simply dangling near her hip. And it seems she very much wanted you to see it.
Mm-hmm.
In response, Felony will just slightly shift to rest her head on the pommel of her sword, while still holding the shield in the other hand.
Well, I could tell you all sorts of things about it, I suppose. For instance, like I've said multiple times, mine, it was made for me by a very strange little gnome. What else do you want to know?
What does it do?
Hmm.
As Doves makes no move towards weaponry or anything, but the clawed fingers of his gloves just pinch ever so palpably on this coin.
And one who leans is in conversation mode and does not react to weaponry.
Well, you can very clearly see it's got the symbol on one side of the city, and the other side it's got the symbol of the Rift Jumper. I'm sure you're familiar with at least one of these two. She smiles
city.
slowly.
Yes.
One of them, certainly. The other, perhaps not so much.
So, if I could be so bold, who sent you? Was it one of the Demon Lords? Was it one of the Outer Plains Lords?
We are official representatives of the Senate Council of the City of Doors. But we are not here, as in within your home, on any business relating to that. We simply seek information here.
At that, her face twists in disgust. She looks almost more displeased than if you had been working for one of the Infernal Lords.
Yeah.
She lets her coat flop back into place, covering up her crossbow, and she stands up straight. Well, in that case, one moment. She turns back towards the wall, and Yuzora, make me an Arcana check.
Can I make it with advantage with the help of Chibi?
Absolutely.
Okay, apparently the dice said 24.
You watch as she very clearly makes some motions and dispels a rune on the wall, and you see several other runes on the wall begin to dissipate.
Shrewd. I appreciate your level of preparation.
Can I
Yes.
identify what the runes were?
With that roll, they were numerous amounts of magical contingencies and traps that would trigger upon speaking a single command word. You saw at least 4 different summon spells, 2 explosive evocation type spells, and 1 teleportation spell.
That was an impressive amount of magic right there.
Would
Maybe
that
I
we
should
were
start look.
sorry.
I was like, man, I might need to just idly pondering. It's like maybe I should start looking into being able to craft runes, because that level of power right there might come in handy. Just rubbing their chin absently as if they weren't just under the threat of getting nuked off the map.
Would that we were here on business related to demon lords.
Would.
But no. Yes, sassy bunch, those lot, to say the least.
It at least would have been more interesting. So the city has made it to Yomei. It's about damn time.
Yes.
She makes a puzzled face at that point and tilts her head slightly in confusion. But you're not familiar with a crewman's wager. And she gestures towards the coin.
Is that what it's called?
We are not.
Oh.
That is, in fact, what it's called.
Well, no, it has not crossed my bar.
crewman's wager. It's a mark of station, meaning you're part of the crew, officially sanctioned by the captain of the Rift Jumper. The coin is yours to hold on to and keep as long as you feel is necessary. Simple flip of the coin will teleport you to the main deck of the Rift Jumper, wherever it is.
Hmm.
If the coin does not belong to you, such as if, say, one of you were to do this with this coin,
Hmm.
you would arrive as expected. The coin would immediately lose all of its function and power because you are not arriving with the one who is bound to it. And then the crew and whatever that you have now popped into the middle of would do with you whatever they felt is necessary.
I see.
So definitely a good thing that we
Understood.
haven't flipped it.
Quite the gamble. That makes sense.
There a
And
emergency get home button. It happens quite a lot. Crew get lost, left behind. And sometimes it's a in case of sort of thing. Because a lot of the time crew also leave of their own volition. So, you
to
know, you may want to go back.
perhaps ease your tension and dissatisfaction at our employment, this one would elaborate. We are a team assembled for various reasons and skills to establish relations with this world. We are not originally staff of the City of Doors. This one originates from Triloon.
I believe that description for me is a contractor.
Ah,
She
yes.
nods at that, giving one who leans a very quick glance. Ah, that explains it. I wondered where they found a myconoid on Yomei. Chaloon. She looks around at the others.
I tend to bar
Tabaxi,
in the city.
where at?
The ring finger. I'm known to be able to get things done.
Ringfinger. Is that in the Adventure District or is that downtown in the Commerce District?
I gotta think of what makes most sense. I forget what was the
Above-
Adventure District.
But to say above the table, I would expect the red light district.
Well, yes, definitely, but those can
So
exist.
commerce?
Those can exist wherever.
Yeah.
Commerce.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The Adventure District just it happens to be a district that caters specifically to adventurers who pass through the City of Doors.
It would be.
Their clientele is mostly adventurers and the like.
Yeah, I think that's more reasonable for a brothel.
Mm-hmm.
Adventure District, yes. The
Huh.
tastier portions of that particular leg of the city.
It might not have been there then the last time I was in the city. But I'll keep
Oh.
it in mind. If I'm
Yes,
ever back.
please do.
Could
Stop by. I'll make some wonderful drink recommendations. I make some wonderful drinks.
She nods and looks over at one who leans. Go ahead.
this one inquire as to your involvement with the city?
As little as possible, honestly.
Oh, what's got you so... What's given you such a distaste for the city?
Lifetime of putting up with their bureaucracy and bullshit.
Well, blessed to that, eh? Mm.
Bellamy will giggle a bit at that.
Politics.
This one
Always a nightmare.
This one understands. It has indeed met resistance regarding the bureaucracy.
That's why I kind of like the road more.
She gives you a grin with both of her eyebrows like raising, and she just nods at one who leans. Is like, "Yep, see, you get it now, don't you?"
And that's our diplomat. If you don't mind me saying, from the looks of you, you do seem to be the kind of sort who knows how to go through some back doors to get things done without having to step and trip over all the red tape. That's something that I can respect.
She nods at that. I did do a few things here and there, specifically for the Rift Jumper and a captain and the crew that may have been against the grain in the city. The Rift Jumper and the city are antagonistic at best, friendly so. We're not there to take them down. They don't like that we pop about and do what we want, where we want, and when we want.
Well,
This one,
I do believe that this group and your Jumper share that in common. From what I've been informed, or we've been informed, I should say, we aren't exactly on Yome at the council's will.
She makes a bit of a face at that, looking almost surprised, but shrugs it off.
We
Regardless,
are useful
I wouldn't
to
flip
them.
that coin anytime soon.
Oh, certainly not. We could say that we are useful to the city because of how much liberty we can take.
indeed, our operations on Yome have been met with ample success. But the situation does tend towards envenomating in the near future. Have you heard of the involvement of the Empire in the region in recent times?
Of course. I've had my eyes and ears open and have been watching for some time.
This party has been largely responsible for pushing back their attempts so far.
Pushing just the right buttons.
Yeah, the Empire is definitely not happy with us right now.
Well, that much I can appreciate and give you a bit of a thanks for. They certainly deserve the rough time of it.
Indeed. And this one has endeavored to find allies and get the peoples of these free territories as close as possible to anticipate further acts of violence. The Solstice Coalition has been formed to that purpose, as well as the Free Territories Trade Agreement.
Oh, you have been busy. But also, you speak the same bureaucratic crap that the city does.
Right. Oh,
Yes, that is
This
a
one
common thing.
understand the reluctance. However, the officialization of such things does make it harder to ignore for the bureaucracy, which is to our benefit.
there is most certainly a time and a place for contracts, paperwork, seals, and officiality. If you're interested in being a thorn in the side of the Empire, oh, we would love to have you.
I'm
Indeed.
retired from all that.
Oh, shame. But, I'll be sure to keep you in mind if ever we need to spill drink and share stories.
Of course. I don't plan on going anywhere. Not so long as the book's in the vault. She looks at you very meaningfully.
Yes.
Right.
Now that doubts and suspicions have been alleviated regarding allegiances, this one would like to mention it. We have
Absolutely.
observed this tome while perusing the vaults during our investigation, and it has brought concern.
It reeks of very interesting power. We would love to know more.
Oh, absolutely. It is a horrible, terrible, should be destroyed, can't be destroyed, unfortunately, burden upon everyone. But-
I might have been described as the very same.
Yosora at that one just pipes up. No comment.
But I've taken it on as my own burden.
Hmm.
We got that somewhere near the end of my tenure with the Rift Jumper. We pulled a heist, stole it from one of the Infernal Princes, right from his very palace. Made out of plane with it. Rift Jumper jumped somewhere else. We put a few very specific tampering enchantments upon it to keep it behaved.
Mhm.
But she shakes her head. It wasn't enough. And so I took the book from the vault on the ship and left and came here.
Well, rather shrewd as well. Who would come looking for an object of such grave power in such a podunk little bank as Old Ned's?
Exactly.
So, not really my forte, but can I see the reader on her honesty about wanting it to keep it sealed? The book?
Yeah, you want to inside check that? Go ahead.
Which of the infernal princes, may I ask?
You do get a sense that she's speaking the truth, as far as you can tell.
Okay.
She paused for a moment and thought. It seems almost for a moment as if she's legitimately forgotten. It's been that long, perhaps. And then she, the lady one with the knives and all the blood.
Oh, the Lady of Pain.
She snaps her fingers and points to Dove. That one, yes.
The balls on you. Oh, man. I got a
The
feeling I
captain
liked
does
you.
like a challenge.
This one has not observed any spheroids. On
You
the...
hush.
Well,
Oh, I like this one. Well, they may just ever so happen to be some, not exactly infernal princes, but some, as you put it, demon lords that may have riled my ardor. I might ask if you might know anything in that regard. Regarding Mikhail Ruthven.
she hisses at the name, then turns and spits on the ground. I am familiar with that sad sack of shit, yeah? Why?
I want him.
For clarification, he means he wants him dead.
Among other things.
Well, you'd certainly not be the first one in a long line of individuals who've wanted that. But, and you see, it's just another one of those delightful little reasons why I just can't deal with the city. You know he's protected by the city, right?
Get the fuck out of here. All the... Isn't it always the worst ones who take refuge in the law?
It absolutely is. He's got some long-term, long-standing deals or treaties or something with the city lord himself, and because of that, is nigh on untouchable. Now, of course, as the captain has been so common to make note, just because he's off limits officially doesn't mean we can't do something about it unofficially.
Now you're speaking my language.
I think the captain would like you.
Actually, present time might be an opportunity to act, regardless of legal repercussions considering the City Lord's absence.
At that, there
Not a
is
bad point.
great surprise that crosses over her face.
Oh, you did not know? Oh.
No, I haven't had news from the city since I got here. It's been some time.
The
Tim-
City Lord has been missing for quite a while, which has been a hindrance to our legal efforts.
It's also one of the reasons we were able to be authorized, if you will, to be here on
Do we-
Yome.
Sorry. Do we have recollection of just how long the Sea Lord's been missing?
Has officially been missing for probably at this point about a year.
Oh, is that all?
Has-
Okay.
Has been noticed as missing probably about 4 months at this point.
Okay. All right, that's much less of a time than I thought.
Hmm.
Oh, right. Well, I suppose it has only officially been about a year, but you have been here for a while, haven't you?
Decades. Yeah.
Right. What of your captain? You say you're retired. Who might this captain be? Has he ever passed through the ring finger? Or had a ring finger pass through him?
I can guarantee you the answer to both is probably yes.
Oh.
Knowing him.
Good. If it were possible for me to someday meet this captain of yours, I'd be delighted, I think.
The last bit of news I got about the Rift Jumper, the captain, and the city came about when the City Lord made the big announcement that he was going to crack down and seal off all the realms and no more traveling from place to place.
Mm.
He also sealed the Rift Jumper and her crew. That's why I would not suggest flipping that coin.
Right.
Because you'll go to the Rift Jumper, but I don't know if you'll ever be able to escape.
Sealed at the city, or sealed just irrevocably interdimensionally?
Supposedly sealed forever and watched by the last Guardians,
Shit.
along with the gap in the veil and the weapons cache on Achipita.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Was that a name that rings any bells for any of us?
It shouldn't,
Okay.
'cause that should be top secret stuff.
Okay.
Written down.
What about the last Guardian? Does that ring any bell?
Name of the planet, by the way, Achipita.
Thank you.
The last Guardian might. That you could roll some history checks to see if it tickles any memories.
It felt like it was vaguely familiar or related to the the
Damn
Copper
it.
Skeleton Army or whatever, but I'll try. Oh, I'm not good at it.
Damn, we're rolling low. Oh yes,
Ah, good
thank
boy.
you.
Okay.
Not even gonna try.
History buff. Can't roll worth crap. Somebody who doesn't have history buff rolls really well. How's that fair?
Yeah, my intelligence isn't that
Yep.
good.
Wither kind of perks up and at it. But what would I be knowing about this, if anything?
You've heard the name before. Supposedly, the last Guardian is a member of an ancient race that watches over something until a time comes. You don't know a lot of the details to the legend of it, but you at least know of it.
Where would I have heard it from?
Likely from within the city. And likely very recently. It's like before you'd come out to Yome.
Okay. Oddly enough, I've heard of that. It's and I basically say what you just said. Sorry, I'm
No,
you
that's
said,
fine. That's fine.
yep, and it's just like,
This
Oh.
this one would like to make would like to abort a couple subjects. First and foremost, the tome in the vault. If you believe this is the safest place for it, then this one is inclined to trust you. But the situation being as desperate as it is there any way you can think of to make use of it?
The book? Use it?
Yes.
This one is ignorant as to its function. It is simply inquiring as to the possibility.
Did she name drop that the book was?
No.
Or did Dove?
She's very specifically not naming it.
And I don't remember if Dove mentioned what name it by name either. So
I only mentioned the name of the individuals of note.
Roger that.
You are more familiar than we are regarding this particular item, and as such, this one is inclined to trust your judgment if you think it is too dangerous. However, as it has said, the situation warrants looking into every possibilities.
No matter how dark the shadows might be sometimes, it does drive one's curiosity, and, if I may be candid, if there is a power in there that could drown someone like Mikhail, I would be ecstatic.
You're more like to find power like that in this book's opposite.
Ugh. I just have this, like, palpable, like,
Yeah. Yeah, you probably don't want to be anywhere around the Book of Exalted Deeds.
Oh my god, no. Oh
that
shit.
That would probably end up being for
Bellamy
me.
will raise an eyebrow at the mention of an opposite book.
Specifically did not mention the name of it.
No, right.
Necromancy of Thay.
No, just the mention of an opposite book.
but
Yeah. It does have a opposite.
It's the Darkhold.
no, yes, but I do know what the book is called. If that was a question,
You did absolutely see the title at the end.
I do know what it's called. If any, if one of us was accurate, did anyone forget?
That's fine. But I'm curious
Okay.
to hear what she has to say about it.
Yeah.
I do in fact believe that at present, at least, its best spot is still within that bank's vault. Very innocently, very innocuously, just withering away until the end of creation, in the middle of nowhere, on a planet very few people seem interested in.
I'm afraid I have some bad news in that regard.
She frowns a bit, but nods and continues to answer one who leans. And with myself as its guardian, and I do assure you, knowing that there is a presence of the city here on Yomei now, should anything happen to it, I would inform the proper authorities in the city. This is not a power that I would toy with or handle lightly. And also, not one that I think we should yet consider trying to borrow from.
Understood.
What is it about what I said that made you say such things? She turns towards Dove and just gives Dove this very puzzled expression.
Interest in Yomei grows daily.
That is less than ideal.
The Empire.
What's up?
The Empire on this world has turned out to be a multiversal concern rather than a local one, as it is affiliated with entities. What was the term?
At one,
Illithid.
yes.
She nods. This does not appear to be a surprise to her. I've been watching them for some time since I figured it out. But as far as I can tell, this was just another cog in the machine, another battery feeding their infinite army.
It appears to be, unfortunately, much more relevant.
That is disappointing. How big a threat do you believe this actually is?
I believe terms have been thrown around that might include apocalyptic.
She
Indeed.
frowns deeply.
If you...
The-
Oh, please go on.
The confrontations we have been engaged in with the Empire have been mild in comparison to what is to come. It appears we've drawn the ire of the will of the Empire, which we believe to be illicit in origin.
She again gives you a surprised look at that. Not that it was illicit in origin. That does seem to be a bit of a surprise to her, but that you have drawn their ire. That's not good. I've heard stories of this will, and none of them end up happily.
You do understand then our inquiries into all possibilities of defense.
Indeed, if there are
Afraid I do,
objects
yes.
and relics of great, if, to say the least, questionable, dangerous powers, it is still worth our attention. I think I could put it plainly to say that if you could see fit to offer us the receipt for this book, it would be of incredible influence in our current conflict.
She frowns just a little bit, giving you all a look, and eventually just shakes her head. I'm just not comfortable doing that. I think it needs to sit where it is, at least for the time being. But I do have a proposal, perhaps.
Fair enough.
Oh, I'm listening.
Return to me my crewman's wager. I will pack up this house and what other trinkets I may have sitting around. And I will go to seek the Rift Jumper. And I will bring it back. And we will pick up the tome and we will take it from here.
Fascinating.
This one did have a suggestion regarding this very eventuality. If you were to reunite your crew and secure the Rift Jumper, it would be an extraordinary asset to the efforts on this world.
Not just this world. We do know that darkness is on the way for everything.
She nods emphatically. The Rift Jumper, I believe, could and should be made of use once more.
Do you fancy
City
your
Lord
chances?
isn't around to undo what he did. So maybe it's up to one of us to find them and to break them out.
Indeed.
Do you fancy your chances?
She tilts her head, but smiles confidently. I'm familiar with the Last Guardian and his people. I've at least been to that world before, and I know how to get around, should the need arise.
And
If you would like some, at least, assistance from the back bleachers. If you wouldn't mind me name-dropping you to a few individuals in my circles, I could see what they could do about providing you some assistance. I do love to see a heist go off as successfully as possible.
Now, that's a plan and an idea that I'm a big fan of.
Hmm.
And it's not the first time we've had to break out. Probably won't be the last.
And
Good.
should you make a stop by Trelune, the Circle of the Final Rest would be glad to provide supplies.
We'll probably hold you to that. Or at least your circle.
Hmm.
This one circle is devoted to cooperation between species.
One who leans, you said, correct?
Indeed.
Yes. She nods at that, giving you a bit of a what was earlier a very like Wayne, where can I put the dagger to put you down glance, is now this very I like this guy kind of glance.
I would offer the same of my home, but unfortunately, home is in turmoil right now. I don't think we have much we could spare until things settle down. Ugh.
I'll tell you what. I know you say you're going to use the gambit. Oh, well, to that point. I produce it again. Yeah. I just place it flatly and firmly into her palm.
She sighs heavily, staring at it for a moment, then looking up at Dove once more.
If you are making your way through the city at any point and do stop by the ring finger before flipping the coin, I have something for you. This could unlock a few doors for you. And I take, if you saw my art on the full body proportion, I have one of the little like lapel clips that holds kind of my mantle in place that is shaped like a dove. I take a candle out of my pack and just give it a quick light and take the lapel off, put it in the palm of my hand, and drip the wax on it and peel off the little relief that is pressed into the wax that is of the
Nice.
dove. This should open some doors for you at the ring finger.
She takes it carefully, bows her head to you. Thank you. I look forward to
Certainly.
that.
This
So,
one. Go ahead.
I do have a question. I want to clear this up before we proceed further, but why did you take this from Akin?
There was some suspicion of his involvement with the bandits, but also for fucking fun.
Ah, of course. That makes sense.
I will
You should have
fully admit-
seen the way he sweat when I took him out on a date afterwards and presented him the coin.
That poor boy.
Oh. It wasn't.
I will fully admit that I had part of it. I could detect the magic on him, but I couldn't identify what it was.
Pepper.
For all I knew, it was a way to communicate with those who pulled off the robbery.
Ah, damn.
Knowing nothing of the situation, and with our investigation in progress as to the robbery, it was an acceptable endeavor.
That's true. I can see how this being in his possession would cast some shade and suspicion on him.
Like we said,
But-
we were on the lookout for teleportation magics, and this one smacked of it.
It, ostensibly, I put it in the vault, but truly, and I knew I'd piqued his interest with it. It was a gift to him.
Oh, does that make him an official owner of it? To have the blessing
No.
of a crew member?
No, it's. He had the chance to be. It's
Did he?
sort of a soft tradition of the crew who retire and then decide they have found a place where they're going to be forever and they don't want to go back to pass on their wager to see if anybody else might take up the offer and become a member of the crew that way. And I thought Roken had the spark in him. Be a good member of the crew.
While this one understands the gesture, perhaps such tradition could have been delayed until the unsealment of the vessel.
It would have been a shame had he flipped the coin and ended up in some sort of purgatory. He was tempted. He was very tempted, as you know, undoubtedly would recognize.
In fact, believe that he would find a way to make himself part of the crew.
If that is the case,
Well, this may
when
be the way
you-
then.
as you get ready for your next adventure, as you have put it, to go and help the Rift Jumper, why not bring him along?
I was in fact going to ask if you thought, perhaps, might that be a good idea?
Well, speaking from experience, throwing someone into the deep end and expecting them to swim is a very poor teaching method. But
She just
giving
makes a face and waves this way to this.
But bringing someone along with that so he can see what he's getting into, because as noted, he's tempted, but it's not a guarantee. While I will not say he's going to avoid it, it's possible that with a little help, he might be more palatable, I guess is the best way to put it. For your...
Palatable is what I'd call that little morsel.
Yozora just like, I'm talking here.
This one is inclined to believe that Alicia's insights into character are mostly correct.
I think so as well. He has that wanderlust that is first and foremost the need for any. Do you approve of the term pirate? I've met many who don't.
But before you make preparations, this one had a thought. You seem well versed in magical countermeasures. Is there anything you could provide this group that would help dissimulate them from magical scrying means and other detections?
She smirks just a little bit. I was surprised to find out that none of you were immune to scrying.
I'm sorry.
It did not seem relevant before coming here, but the situation does present it as mandatory.
I do know of a way to do that, yes. And I could find a way to get them to you. She nods slowly.
Any
Fair
and all
enough.
of this help would be certainly appreciated, especially if now we're paying you in the form of Rocken. I had claim to that one.
Well, how about this? I promise one day to meet up again at the Ring Finger. I'll bring Rakin. You bring you.
Always.
Above the table, was that specifically towards Dove or to the entire group?
Yeah, that's sort of stuff.
Okay.
Now we're all
Right.
gonna bang rockin'.
Fuck yes. Oh my god, yes. Oh, the little bunny swing just getting passed around. Oh,
The convenience of looking like an old man. No one expects that from the old person.
God.
I mean, we've already established that Felony would not be against that.
Fuck.
But yes, if you would be able to provide scrying countermeasures, it would greatly serve our cause.
If for nothing else, than to annoy the Empire even more.
It would, actually. And if it seems that adventurers are once more flocking to the city and it's becoming again the central hub of activity, and she just kind of gestures towards everything around the room, then I have a few places to go, a few stops to make. I think we can get the old manufactories back up and running.
Speaking of old manufactory, do you know where the old man, in fact, is?
She smirks. I'm sure he's around somewhere.
All right then. I'd love to insight check that. Is she being coy like he's
Yeah,
he's
same.
the house or some shit, like some
I
fey
swear.
wordplay?
I swear, if we're dealing with a mimic that's gained sentience and is, playing, yeah. Ugh.
Same. I'd love to insight that.
Yeah, go ahead inside if you'd like.
Bay insight. I'm going to Arcana check real quick, just to see if I can detect any, like invisibility spells or something like that.
Mm.
And Chibi helps.
I mean, usually ask the DM
Well,
for that.
yeah, called it. Like,
As you insight and Arcana check, she winks at Dove, her form slowly melting and shifting until she takes on the form of an older gentleman.
Oh.
Bellamy will look at the old man in front of her and then look at
yes.
Yodora. And back and forth.
We are not related.
so is he around?
Well, I can guarantee you that unless you're a changeling as well, you're
I
certainly
was just
not
about to
related.
fucking ask. I was just about to fucking ask. I was just about to fucking ask. Like, is this my?
Wither actually notices this time and jumps a little bit. Like,
Okay, help me out. In the one shot we did, was that the name of the fucking ship?
The Rift Jumper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Is this Nai?
It is not. No.
Look at the
I
crew.
was about to say, did you steal my character?
No.
Did you like co-opt my character in the future and like battle harden them? And oh god. Okay, but fuck, I know a character who would
there.
love to meet.
I like
Oh,
that.
fucking awesome.
I like that the majority of us are familiar with changing shapes.
Yeah, right.
Hmm.
But the idea of Jacob being there, being part of that crew is like, yeah, please.
Oh,
Changeling.
wow.
That explains it. Haven't seen one of you since I left home.
I
There's
think
a watch
you
captain
are
on the
the
Rift Jumper.
third or fourth changeling I've met.
Well, I guarantee you've met a lot more than 3 or 4. Especially if you've been
True.
in the city and running a bar or anything.
Fucking secret wars.
Yes, true.
Mhm,
Ones
mhm.
that have come clean about it, so to speak. Well, however they were inclined to come at the time. But, those who are willing to, say, expose themselves while exposing themselves as changelings are very valuable in brothels.
Did he? Did they? I'll go with they. Did they say that they were the captain of the watch for the Rift Jumper?
They were a watch captain.
Thank you. Just making sure I've got that right in my notes.
hmm We also hold special distinction that we were the first changeling to work as a member of the crew of the Rift Jumper. Shortly after we were set free, the City Lord and all that, he worked with the Great Council and our leadership. That's why there's such a big contingent of changelings within the city. It's one of the few places they're safe.
Fuck, my Sailed Up senses have been hijacked by wanting to play Nai now. right in this moment. Oh fuck.
Yuzora has a bit of a flinch at the whole being safe thing, just as they're remembering that,
Ah,
yeah, their own predicament right now.
hmm.
Shifting back to her normal form, she just stretches her arms a little bit, shakes her hair out. But it got a little obvious to keep having the old man be an old man for decades. So I had to figure out a way to take over.
Indeed. I was curious, I admit. Hearing how long you've been here. And looking so young. But some of us have our beauty secrets, don't we?
Yuzora is very much doing the whole, I am trying this now, like trying not to react to that statement.
Nah, I just grew like that.
Mm-hmm. I woke up like this, in a coffin.
Yeah. Is there any other magical inquiries I can assist you with?
Well, if you're not inclined to let slip with your slip for the book, are you sure? There's nothing I could do to persuade you otherwise.
This one does understand the concerns for its preservation and to hide it. But if you could be convinced to make it available to us as very much a last resort, the situation justifies it in this one's opinion.
She takes a deep breath and smiles politely before she shakes her head again. It's not that I don't trust you. It's just that I don't trust you. And I'm sure one day perhaps you may understand. But there's going to be no shaking my resolve on this. I will, however, be willing to trust you to make sure nothing happens to it while I'm gone.
Understood.
Worry not. That is a sentiment that I have tasted for a long time.
As far as
Bellamy
it's
will give an actual formal bow to that.
this one believes that its current location might be amongst the safest ones as of yet.
That was always my hope.
This might change should the Empire advance further than we are able to slow them down. In
I
such
will
an
endeavor to hurry.
in such an eventuality, what would you suggest as a course of action?
Contact me immediately.
Do you have a convenient means of doing so?
Without
Believe she-
another word, she will disappear into the other room.
Like vanish or just go into the other
Like, yeah,
room?
walk through
Okay.
the door and into the other room.
Yozora is just like,
Poof.
do the silver ravens reach across
Mhm.
the void?
Technically, it's animal messenger, so no.
Returning, she will set out 2 stones on the table, one near Dove, one near one who leans. A pair of sending stones you can use to get a hold of me, anytime, anywhere.
Both of these are linked to yours.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Very well.
Thank you.
If something happens to it, just let me know. and I'll be back as soon as I possibly can.
Well, regarding magical inquiries, uh, if we had the time, I'm sure that we could have a very magical conversation all night.
I assure you we could.
But in the meantime, Yozora, I think you had something that was pressing.
Yes, I was waiting for the discussion of the book to peter off.
She
I
curls
haven't-
a brow and looks over at Yozora.
I was hoping to pick your brain about other knowledge that's not expressly dark, gesturing in the general direction of Dove. I have been informed that there's a great, how to put this, device on this world, and that my blade, gesturing, not drawing it, just gesturing towards the as I completely draw a blank towards their
hilt?
blade. Yeah,
The scabbard?
yes.
The pointy.
Might be the way to ascertain its location and entrance for the dark days that are coming. I have not had any time to try and figure out how to use this blade to divine that. If you have any insight on how to do that, it would be greatly appreciated.
Or if that is even its purpose.
She draws a breath and then blows it out slowly. Her cheeks puffing as like her hair blows out of her face. I That's a pretty broad subject. I don't even know where I'd begin. I suppose it could be the blade itself could be part of a key-like mechanism, that there could be a receptacle. You insert the blade and the magic within it triggers something there. It could be that perhaps the blade again might have some sort of enchantment upon it, and in the correct lighting and the correct environment, it could reveal some message. Furthermore, it could be within the hilt.
Should
number of
we start with the name of the blade and see if that
Yeah, I
rings
had-
any bells for
That
you?
could help.
Sorry, I fully admit, above table, I personally drew a blank, and well, with my talk to text button, I can't click on anything with my mouse. So that was entirely on me.
No, by all means.
Yeah. Ahem. If I may, I wish, sorry, back in character. I am not being a threat here. I have no wish to engage in a fight.
You're quite safe, old man. I assure you that if I thought you were a threat, well, I'd put you down. And there's nothing anyone here could do to stop me.
And I believe that. But I still want that to be out there.
By all means, I appreciate it.
At that, he Wither kind of chuckles a little bit.
Yozora will step closer and carefully pull out the Radiant Historian Soul Blade. As this, I have been informed that this is known as the Radiant Historian Soul Blade, and there's a moment of pause and thought as looking at the group and how it's like, okay, we're leaving a very powerful dark artifact in the care of Alicia. And it might be the key to locating and possibly operating the Great Forge.
Wow. That is quite a name. Quite a significant potential destiny to it.
I'm well
Both of
aware.
her brows rise high up on her forehead, and she looks at the sword and gestures. Would you mind if I picked it up?
As long as I get it back.
I have no desire to keep it. I will return it, I assure.
The double checking. There was no lie there, right?
No lies detected.
Okay. One last look at the group, and Yozora will carefully hand it over.
Oh, here we go. Music change.
Do you all hear that?
Gripping the blade carefully, she raises it
Hi,
into the air,
hallucinator.
peering down from tip to tip, turning it this way and that. She makes a few tests, like swings with it, making it whisper through the air. Finally, she looks up at Yuzora. Well, there's the name, first and foremost, the Radiant Historian. I don't know if you're familiar with this name, but it is one of the many familiar nicknames for the Celestial Patron. She's known as her Lady of Radiance, the Great Historian. She collects all history and all information and keeps it within the Radiant Vault.
Yes, I'm aware. We've had a conversation when I first acquired the blade.
There is the possibility,
Well.
of course, that the so-called key, as it were, to this great forge, she curls a brow, hoping she got the name right. Maybe that information is stored within the Radiant Vault, and so this would be the key leading you there. Or perhaps, as I suggested, this is in some fashion a key, a device to be inserted to start up the Great Vault, or to control it in some manner. Now, the second part, though, the historian part, that does hold some significance to it. Are you aware of the historian as a person?
Would I be?
Make a history check.
Huh. 20. What do I got?
As a title for an individual, perhaps. As a title for a job, definitely. But as just an individual, it doesn't really ring a bell.
I know it as title for possibly an individual and definitely a profession. But I don't think that's what you're indicating, gesturing towards the blade.
No, of course not. Radiant Historian has a connotation to it. Ties back into the Celestial Patron and to the Historian itself. This has significance because this being a soul blade means that the previous owners give up a bit of themselves when they pass on to help empower the blade. And that, I'm sure you've seen a bit of the visions. Those are the past lives. Those connected in some fashion to you. Whether it be through destiny, fate, or self-same souls.
We
What
both
was that?
have, actually.
Yeah.
I
What was that
unfortunately.
last little bit there? Sorry.
Self-same souls.
Okay, as the player, I'm drawing a blank on that. Is that the reincarnation?
Yeah, basically you, but in a past life, and now your soul has passed on and is you now.
Okay, give me a second to write this down.
That's very interesting. I suppose for those of them who are not of the lineage, I have experienced a vision from that sword, and it was less than pleasant.
Nodding
With all
slightly.
this,
Go ahead.
with that, Wither's ears kind of perk up at the thought. It's like, with what he's learned fairly recently, it kind of piques his interest a little bit more.
When we acquired that sword, I felt a vision of being on the business end of it. I suppose
And
that's
it
some
is
sort
entirely
of
possible.
defense mechanism for those who are unworthy, I suppose, of wielding it.
Or a soul that resonated with yours and shared some of its story with you.
Oh, that's far more pleasant then.
Now, the historian, much like the Last Guardian or the Sorcerer or the Watcher or the. Well, they have a dozen or so different titles. These all belong to the Aven, an ancient race of individuals that very much are like modern Aarakocra, though they were a bit more advanced and developed in their heightened times. Achivita is in fact the last natural world of the Aven. And the Last Guardian is themselves an Aven, though the Last Guardian is a title they picked up when they became the Last Guardian. So this has
This one.
ties to a Aven individual who would have been someone important and responsible for cataloging, writing down, and preserving all of known history that they encountered.
This one does appreciate literal descriptors.
Mm-hmm.
It does make it a lot more easy to understand what's going on when you don't have to play word games.
But the most important thing about this, and she will then hold the blade out, turning it to present it to Yozora, almost like you would a ceremonial blade.
Yozora
this-
oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was like, since she's presenting it, Yozora would reach out to reclaim their blade.
This being the Radiant Historian's soul blade means that this would afford you entrance into the Radiant Vaults and the infinite and unending knowledge of the Celestial Patron.
It's a lot.
You just have to make your way there, of course.
Yozora visibly has to, like, anybody who's paying attention will see them, like, almost start drooling at just, like, the library there, and just the ability to just, walk in there with this blade and just, like, read and enjoy and learn. It's like, right, deal with the issue in front of me first, and then I will deal with that.
Now, oh, if only we knew somebody with some sort of access to interdimensional ship.
She smirks.
Yozora sheaths the blade. It's like, just again, still, they're trying to focus, but they're daydreaming about just all the books they could read, what they could learn.
You know it's Dragonforge as well, do you not?
What was that? Sorry.
It's Dragonforged.
I didn't. Oh wait, yes. Sorry, took me a second there. Yes, blade was forged by High Queen Titania, Bahamut, the Celestial Patron, the Radiant One, and the Great Forge, I believe, if my memory serves.
Mm-hmm. Remarkable item you have there. I would keep it safe as best you could.
That was already my plan.
Hmm.
Yosaurus is like now very like just like I'm carrying something a lot more important than I thought I was.
We took it from some spooters.
Yeah.
The spiders were jerks. It's fine.
Hmm.
Yes.
The spiders of fate.
Well, that certainly gave me more information than I have been informed about it. Oh. I wanted to take a minute to process all this. And maybe.
So now,
Yozora is just like just gains 1,000-yard stare as they start just thinking like what they could possibly do now that they know a bit more about this. I know it's not Excalibur, but basically celestial Excalibur, in their opinion. You can access the most powerful thing that the knowledge and lost knowledge and all that. This might as well be Excalibur to Yozora.
so now Yuzora's going through. Now Yuzora understands what Dove is thinking when he sees a little morsel like Rokan.
We haven't come across any proper
Just-
libraries.
oh,
No one's
the
been able to see Yozora
possibilities.
actually respond to that.
Were there any others?
I'm good. Looks around the party. Anybody else?
Yes. Do any of the rest of you have some sort of ancient relic upon your possession?
None but myself, I guess.
She just smirks.
Everything's ancient compared to this one.
What I might be curious about, once you... Once you engage on the reunion of the crew and the Rift Jammer. Or Rift... Sorry, what was it again? Rift Jumper?
The
Rift
Rift
Jumper.
Jumper.
Jumper, not Jammer. The Rift Jumper. You piqued my curiosity. Have you considered means of fucking with Ruthven outside of the sanctions of the city?
I myself have not, no. But there have been plenty who have tried before. Sometimes we have been part of the process, sometimes we have helped, sometimes we have hindered.
That is good to know. If you would be willing to take another several thousand stabs at it sometime in the future, I would be happy to be in touch.
As long as the captain thinks the coin is worth it, we'll be there.
That you
This
can
one
count
is
on.
apt. This one is apt at negotiating such things.
Let's
I've
hope we
never
get
met
there.
Captain Nathaniels. This
Sorry?
may be a test of your abilities.
Oh, do not misunderstand. This one was mentioning acquiring as much funding for this reward as possible for the captain.
Now, at least, sounds like you know how to speak his language then.
This one is well versed in several languages. The
Fully functional.
as for the matter at hand, this one does not have any more magical items to produce. However, it would inquire once more about the possible scrying countermeasures you could present. Would this be obtainable immediately?
Not immediately, no, but I would have it sent along as soon as possible. It would be a simple
Understood.
matter of a brooch or a pin or an earring, whatever it is you are looking for. That would simply put you on an aura of non-detection,
Hmm.
and you no longer be scryable.
Understood. And This one would assure you'd be compensated for such an item.
Once you know,
I will be.
yeah, let's see, once you know we're done for the moment pissing off the entire continent.
Oh, well, this one's getting a delicious little bunny boy out of the deal. I think the cost for that is a steal.
This one understands, but it does like to do things properly in terms of rewarding services rendered.
She simply bows her head at that, giving you an appreciative grin.
And do be careful.
I'll try.
This one understand that the Illithid are a threat
Soon be losing exercise
not to be underestimated, even within the safety of a dimensional vessel.
With a serious look on her face, she nods. You're absolutely correct. They're not to be underestimated. We've been dealing with them and running from them as least as long as we've been dealing and putting up with the city. And admittedly, if I have my choice, I'd rather put up with the city than deal with any of the Illithid.
I don't suppose, with the exception of those that have been wiped out, you know any ways of, any weaknesses they might have.
Can any of you conjure a Psyblade?
I was gonna say butter sauce, but yeah, Sideblade works too.
I don't believe any of us can.
Then I'm afraid I'm fresh out of ideas.
Not a blade. But I am capable of, let's say, exerting a certain pressure on one's psyche.
Wow. No wonder they're interested in you, at least. She smiles over at Dove.
Above table, I'm going to guess the Psyblade is a very specific thing and not just something that I could possibly magic up.
Yeah, it's very specific to psionic magic from psionicists.
Yep.
Which
That's
do
what
not exist in 5e, sadly.
Yep.
There is a brand of rogue
The
That-
Psyblades.
that is, that can do a very similar. I think they're
Mhm.
called soul blades in this case, or whatever the hell
Yep.
they're. Yeah.
Hey, I'm the one wielding the Soul Blade. Back
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, I was this close to going in that direction too, but I was like, nah, it's too inquisitive. I want to be a voyeur. But yeah, above table, Dove can do psychic damage.
Yeah.
I have Phantasmal Force. That's the best I've got.
Oh god, this feels so fucking good.
I got Shillelagh.
Shillelagh.
Okay.
Imagine, oh my god, imagine me using Draining Kiss on a fucking Illithid. Like, oh, you're gonna eat my brains? Oh yeah? Well,
You gotta find the mouth first.
I'll
I've
eat your
seen that
fucking
cinematic
brains.
in Baldur's Gate.
when Illithid tries to eat your brains, you eat their brains right back.
That damn right.
It appears our course is set. This one wishes to thank you for the assistance you've been provided to the inhabitants of this world, even if just locally. The disruptions the Empire has endeavored to provoke here have made life harder for the inhabitants, and we are endeavoring to resolve as many of those matters as we can before we must confront the will of the Empire.
Sighing sadly, she seems to like a weight has settled on her, and she's just a little bit weighed down by it. She leans a little bit, Shakes her head. I don't envy you the path you have ahead of you. I'm not excited to be leaving my new home behind either. Especially for a life that I had been resolved was past me. But if things are as dire as you say, and it seems so, said Lord Missing, an empire with more influence and power than might have been expected.
And let's not forget the prophecy of the longest night, or the eternal night, whichever.
These do seem to be fortuitous days. No one has been hard to sleep lately.
Those lifestyles we run from, or sometimes miss, do often have a habit of catching up with us.
Not wrong. The captain did warn me.
Captain Nathaniels. I'll keep that name in mind. And yours. Especially if you keep in mind my name. I'll take out one of my couple of flasks, and I'll put down like a really like a buttery smooth rum that has like cinnamon notes to it, cinnamon and nutmeg notes in it, and just clack, set it down on the table. Take out another one of mine. I don't care which one this one is, but I take out one, and I look forward to talking again in the future. Stay alive, won't you?
It's my plan.
Raise it. Cheers
You'll
with
do
her.
the same. She'll pick it up and raise it as well. We're taking a very healthy drink.
I think I can safely speak for most of us, but if you do need assistance, and we aren't tied up with something else that's, the end of the world levels of shenanigans that we're currently dealing with right now, and you reach out, I dare say we would do the best we could to help, again, barring circumstances.
You've got my sending stones. If I need anything, you'll know. Oh, one other thing. She reaches into a pocket, pulls out a key, and tosses it at Dove. The place will be empty. Feel free to make use of it if you're ever in the area.
Oh, great. Anything we should know about so the security system doesn't blow us up?
Ah, that's actually a fairly good point. It shouldn't be a problem. I'm going to make sure I take down most of the passive defenses. Anything active is something that I would have to confirm in a way. Regardless, I know what it is, what's going on. It will be no danger. There is a groundhog that occasionally visits.
The bastard. I mean, go on.
A groundhog, or is this some sort of druid or awakened critter?
No, as far as I know, he's a groundhog.
Like
He can't talk, though.
Like Caddyshack style groundhog. He's gonna fuck with us for all of our lives.
The deal is, he helps keep others away from the crops in exchange for a treat or two himself.
I give one who leans a knowing look, like, so homies.
This one is not above conversing with wildlife.
Hey,
Thank you
This
for
place
the warning.
This place comes with a free friend.
And I'm going to druid craft some reishi, some lion's mane, and some cordyceps in a little bouquet. If you infuse these into a tea of sorts, it will help with your sleep. give them to her.
That is much appreciated. Thank you. She'll carefully put them all away in a pouch.
Now I'm looking through all my inventory, like, what teas do I have left? No, I don't have the good stuff.
This one will pray for your safety in this coming journey and all others.
It's appreciated. I'll say a good word to the Seeing One. I hope that she sees you to a peaceful and acceptable end to your story, wherever it ends, however it ends.
Does that name ring a bell as far as deities go? The
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the Seeing Lady.
Okay.
One of the warlock patrons, and one that supposedly lives within the city.
Oh, nice. I will, I rarely do this, but given that this individual is a changeling, I sort of give a more reverent gesture than most people see Dove ever make, but the sort of like the gesture of the mask.
Oh, okay.
Yozora's still in a bit of a daze, but gives a bow. Thank you.
This one appreciates it, but it will fulfill its purpose or perish in the attempt. In any case, it was provided with one of the best tools to foster cooperation. A common enemy.
I would have guessed alcohol, but a common enemy works too.
Cheers to that.
And if there's nothing else that you need to ask or that you have need of me for, I'll be about preparing and packing up to travel.
Understood. Thank you for your time.
Of course. And I'm glad I trusted my gut and didn't immediately try to kill all of you.
It was indeed appreciated.
Yes, I think we appreciate not leaving this mortal plane quite yet.
It's all I can ask for most of the time, really.
She smiles at that. She will turn, head through the door, and you'll hear her rummage around and packing.
Okay. This one does not fear death. However, it would appreciate it not manifesting so soon.
Dove just hesitates at the door, turns and takes another little look. I can't wait to crash here. This is going to be great. I was kind of hoping we could do it tonight, but she didn't have a bug out bag prepared, so gotta give her some time. I guess we should probably find somewhere to camp. Is it getting late enough? Is it getting late enough?
There is the option to stay in town at the nearby tavern. You can, of course, also just use your cart to travel wherever you'd like to travel next and rest on the way.
I think that's gonna have to be the option. Like, how much time do we think we have left? Because how much time actually did we spend with the whole bandit arc?
You spend about an entire day out here.
Okay, so we still have a couple more at least. What would be... Actually, I could just ask in character. What do you think our next task should be? Have we heard of more disturbances in the area?
We have the Fae and the Cave. Two separate issues to the south of us at this point. Or, sorry, ahem. In the east of us, gestures in the general direction of the mountains, basically.
Yes, this one is anxious to check up on the situation with the with Fenny, the river chewer.
God damn it.
River Chewer and those individuals would be a little bit north and west-ish at the bend in the river. The mountains with the abandoned mine that leads into the ruins that were discovered is just east, very slightly north.
Which one is closer?
River
Oh.
Chewer.
Yeah, I think technically in a straight shot River Chewer, but they would both take you about the same amount of time overall to get to. But technically River Chewer would be closer.
I kind of want to go there first. I'll leave it up to you guys.
Which one gives the best routing to do as many of them as possible and come back in time?
Either way, honestly, you could probably hit up at least both and then have enough time at the moment, depending on what happens with either one, of course.
Izora advocates for leaving River Chewer for last, but that's nothing new.
I don't
right?
know, because the cave is a complete mystery, but River Chewer, I anticipate, will either go really quick or really bad. So,
Fair.
Or yes.
Which are often the same thing.
So I kind of want to go there first.
Where I want to go first is back to the tavern, and
You want to steal the bunny?
I want to
before
get
you
the
can
bunny. Yeah, but
We have to prepare the cart anyway for travel, so you have.
oh, is that where the cart
card
is? We didn't take it with us here, did we?
That's true. That is where the card is.
Oh, then yes, let's go back to the tavern. Let's go to the
I'll say
cart.
it.
Let's definitely
And
go to
I'll
the cart.
In all fairness, we were all expecting, I don't know, we open the door and we get a fireball to the face, so we didn't want that cart to just be destroyed. After all, who else would have a, incredibly dark, powerful artifact to their name? Other than somebody who, will shoot first and ask questions and then cast Animate Dead to ask us questions.
Alicia is, in fact, a significantly high-leveled ranger.
Yeah.
Specifically, a Horizon Walker.
Oh well.
Okay.
There
alright.
was about several different times where Wither was kind of curious about about their crossbow.
Are rangers half casters or quarter casters?
I thought it was quarter.
Quarter, I
I
believe.
think, yeah, quarter, yeah, I believe.
So yeah, for her to have warding glyph, that's fairly fucking high level. If any of you have unfinished business here, this one would recommend seeing to it. It would rather use our time wisely and rest on the road.
I think I am set. Since I know it's nighttime, how active is the local area?
Not very. It is still a small town, so there's not a whole lot of activity.
Okay, where is our cart right now?
It's still parked in front of the bank where you left it.
Ptolemy will make the way to the cart and start preparing it for departure whenever that happens.
I pop into the bar real quick. Let's see if a bunny is there.
The common room is empty, of course, except for Ranston, who is currently wiping down tables.
Ranston, my good sir. Closing up for the night.
Ah, welcome back. Yeah, not so much closing up, just cleaning up, keeping it a little, neat and organized, depending on who wanders in for the late crowd.
Ah, of course, of course. I had a wonderfully stimulating conversation just outside of town. I was wondering if you know where Rocken would have gone for the night.
I do believe he's back at home at the moment.
Ah. Well, if I don't end up seeing him before I leave, could you pass on along a message for me?
Of course, be happy to.
Please simply tell him that... Adventure is coming for him. And it's up to him to ride it.
Ransom gives you a strange look at that, but nods. Well, all right, I'll deliver the message. Adventure is coming. It's up to him to write it. Very good.
Great. Ah, well. If we don't see you, farewell.
Farewell, and cheers to you.
Cheers.
He goes back to wiping down tables.
I want to do something. I'm gonna go to in front of the door of the Hellblessed lady. I know she's not keen on being disturbed, so I'm not gonna knock or anything. But I'm gonna druidcraft couple mushrooms in front of her door that she can find when she opens it.
Okay.
I'm gonna get some nice rare mushrooms an herbalist might be interested in, as well as some black truffles.
Nice. Oh, yeah, it's a hell of a gift.
Yeah.
Ah, well, unfortunately, Rocken was unavailable, so it's just going to be up to Alicia to remind him that the pretty bird who flew into his life opened the door for adventure for him.
This one is certain that you've left a mark in his memory.
I can only hope I can leave more marks later. But for now, shall we?
Onwards to adventure.
Yes. Much to think about. Least of which is the fact that that bitch stole my freaking stick.
Sorry, what?
The whole hiding as, as an old man.
Oh, yeah. All right.
I was going to make the joke earlier, but then we got sidetracked. Like, oh, okay. Like,
Okay, so we're going to the river? Question mark?
We're off to see the river.
Just around the riverbed?
Do not relish negotiations with a river chewer again, but
I fucking do.
Fine.
Yozora bluntly wants nothing to do with them, but at the same time, it's like they're trying to be pragmatic here. As much as I don't like it, River Chewer and her people are a resource that we could probably use. At the same time, though, it's like I'm gonna bite my tongue and not try to insult them.
Oh, I would love to bite
They
some
are-
tongue when dealing with her.
They could definitely prove an asset. But more than that, this one would like to make sure cooperation is in order in the area, and to quell any conflict that might have arisen.
Let's be very honest here. As far as the people, the humans and human adjacent are concerned, the whole dealings of Chinpa was a fucking failure. So,
Damn
as much
straight.
as you may love the opportunity to engage in more appeasement of this fey bitch,
She's not even proper fae. She's a completely different species.
She didn't even go here.
Right. I don't.
She's gained divine power because they're all worshiping her because she's promising things that she's playing into the fact that they don't want to follow any rules.
I do not know what kind of cooperation you intend or anticipate wringing from her and her followers.
This one does have hopes that cooperation can indeed be wrong.
You have
She-
hope. I'll be ready for it to avoid getting stabbed. The talons in the back. Thank you.
I'll back your play as promised, but do keep in mind that you have in your back pocket someone who's willing to drain her at a moment's notice.
Understood.
I will endeavor to do my best not to sabotage this.
But we are a
And-
little more well equipped after this little journey.
This
They've also
one
had
would
time to
think.
fortify themselves, though.
This one would think that you, Dove, would withhold judgment when considering one who desires power.
That's the thing, is whenever possible I try to get the upper hand on who exploits whom first. So I do tend to judge quite frequently, actually.
And this one simply seeks to make sure the exploitation is mutually beneficial.
I've run into very little luck with those who fancy themselves gods.
While everyone is talking, Felmy would have begun preparing the cart, and then literally bodily carrying everyone into the car
Whoop.
so that we can talk while on the road.
Yeah, like Dove is like it's like he's got the dramatic hand on his forehead and it's picked up like a pencil and just
I love that.
And a reminder that, again, the Fae that follow her deserted the Feywild because they didn't want to follow any of the rules that were set. Like, not messing with the mortals any more than they... And all the restrictions, they said no. So they exiled themselves to become whatever it is they're doing down there.
Which does not, in any obvious way, present any moral objections. A simple desire for freedom.
Yuzuru takes a deep breath. What I'm getting at here, One Who Leans, is that they will possibly be a lot less inclined to care about any of the treaties written. Even if this River Chewer has some control over them somehow, if they perceive it as too restrictive for their fun-loving nature, the way Yozora says that is very much just a dismissive thing, like, given that how they were pranking the village, like, oh hey, you're throwing up fish, fun. Ahem.
This is why it is this one's purpose to present things that are mutually beneficial in an appealing way to all parties involved.
Well, with
And
all
we're,
the,
I
with
mean,
all,
we're talking on the
yeah,
cart.
definitely on the
Yeah,
cart.
Oh yeah, after loading all of you, Philemith just drove the cart and started making way.
We have certainly found out from the misplaced denizens of Chimpo just how mutually beneficial they find this arrangement to be.
This is an incomplete assessment, as we have yet to see the result of the aid that was promised by Riverchewer.
Should we give them
She
more
never-
time and go to the cave first, or should we find out immediately what this
This one-
Chimbo situation is?
This one believes the earlier we can assess the situation, the easier it will be to solve any arising conflict, should there be any.
Dove leans back in the cart and pulls his hood up and down over his eyes. Says, "Alright, fuck it. I'm
Just a
in."
reminder that the cart has been loaded with blankets and cushions.
Yeah, it was a nest. I just tuck myself
Yeah,
in the
everybody's
nest
just
and I-
nested up.
my hood, my like
It's the cuddle
thick
puddle.
black hood is down, and it just fair enough.
Indeed,
And we're off.
In- indeed. Fornicate with it. Let's go.
with with the end of the with the sign of the end of the conversation, Wither kind of sits up in the cart and actually exits the cart to check for danger as they are traveling for a bit. And as he leaves, I'll take first watch to make sure everything's okay. I'll be back in about an hour or so.
You can get the
I mean,
And just-
Philemith still driving the cart.
Mhm.
from the hooded desperado pile in the cart. You just get a
Yozora, just the whole decided to take a moment since we're not under attack immediately. I assume it's going to be a little bit before we end up at dealing with the River Chewer or wherever. Yeah. Is going to pull out the Soul Blade and, for want of a better term, meditate on it. Just focus on it, trying to see what else is going on here, what they might glean, and so on and so forth. Now that they got a good idea of what the heck they're dealing with, or
Absolutely.
at least a better idea.
Okay.
And I'm gonna, since we're not in conversation anymore, I'm gonna do what I said I would, and I'm gonna give a prayer to the Great Mound and the Great Glade for the safe travels of Alicia. Midshaper. That one. Okay. Long rest? Question mark?
Absolutely. As you
Okay.
complete the travel overnight, you can each complete a long rest. Nothing waylays you, nothing dangerous
Mhm.
waits for any of you out on the road. And to be clear, we're heading for Chinpo and River Chewer first.
Yes.
Okay.
Sounds
Outvoted.
good.
That's pretty
It's
much the
new
direction that
day.
Philemith picked as she started up the cart anyway.
Oh, Bakisa. Oh,
As you reach the
sorry, I
borders
didn't have to
of
say
the
that. Hi,
new
hello.
Fey territory that
Oh my
had been
God.
previously agreed upon,
Thank
you are almost immediately
Mhm.
greeted by Fey folk who recognize you and gesture with impatience for you to carry on, and that her ladyship wishes to speak with you all.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
This one greets you. This one greets you. This one greets you. Understood.
They
Yozora is
shoot-
drawing on all of their training just to keep the stoic face.
They shoot a few dirty looks
Hmm.
Yozora's direction, but they seem to at least be cooperative and polite enough not to do more than perhaps give a dirty look in Zora's direction. Gesturing you on and letting you go about your, I suppose, making your way towards where you can see River Chewer. They allow you to make your own way. You are not stopped. You are not harassed. But you do get a very discernible sense of being watched. So things are aware of you, things are watching you, but nothing at the moment seems to be outwardly hostile.
Yet.
And as we make our way once more to the, I guess, for lack of a better term, seat of River Chewer's power, we'll call it there and find out what's up next time.
That's what I thought.
Hell yeah, cool shit.
Fabulous. Yo, Alicia is my bitch. Like, Alicia is rad as fuck. I like her a lot.
I'll be honest, that was a pretty picture, and both me and Philomene might have kept it a little bit.
She was
Like,
Uh,
quite biggie, but it-
she
She
was
was
played
dope.
by one of my very good friends, and he
Yeah.
specifically set out to make her acerbic, but also somebody that once she had that feeling of, oh, these people are cool, she was cool. But always like that initial meeting was always friction. And also there were traps
Respect.
and summoning words and all sorts of items and contingencies that there was almost no way any of you would ever be able to spot them.
Mm-hmm.
The DC for them was significantly high.
Damn.
I can
Had
believe
that gone violently, it would almost have been a guaranteed TPK.
Nah, not with the mushroom here.
Hmm. Let's see. Do I have evasion yet? Let
pretty
me see.
good.
See ya, fuckers.
So it was a good thing that I was near the door too, by the way, right?
Yeah, that would have prevented the creatures in the garden from getting inside immediately.
creatures in the garden. Wow.
The fence around the
is-
crops is a wood elemental. The rock along the path was a earth elemental. There were a couple of vine elementals in the garden. Just chill out, resting.
Creatures in the Garden sounds like a young adult light horror novel.
Right? Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Turns out
That was a
my whole,
goosebumps.
Yeah.
turns out my whole character's purpose is to prevent any and every fight that Mog sets up.
Also, the
And
groundhog.
actually, it was one who leans, who almost caused the fight because
Mhm.
she knows Myconoids are not supposed to be on Yomei. So she
Mhm.
knows none of you are from Yomei.
Okay.
Glad it wasn't me this time.
Yeah, it probably was a good idea to come clean about that sooner rather than later.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sort of sad we interrupted her when she was naming everybody. It's like, Mycene, Tabaxi. I was like, okay. So, from
Oh,
what I
yeah.
can gather, she didn't.
If she
click
would
on
have
the fact
clocked, see if she would have
Mhm.
clocked you.
Mhm.
but she got distracted. And I know, supposedly she didn't because she went with the old man thing. But
True.
Yeah, and I mean, we have no fucking idea who she is. We're not gonna just barging and say, yeah, we're from the city.
Hmm.
I was honestly kind of curious to see what her take was going to be on Philomene with her unique physical attributes.
She's
Mhm.
seen some weird shit. Doesn't even phase her.
I'm more surprised that she knew my circle.
Yeah, I was. When that came up, I was like,
there's
how the fuck do you know that?
There's absolutely an explanation in the Rift Jumper and the crew, when she was still part of it, spent a significant portion of time on Trelune in the region that you would eventually be from.
Noise.
That was one of those signs of like when she met. So there were like 2 or 3 things that were mentioned that I was like, okay, we have to be very coy with this one. Like we have to be shrewd with this one because she knows a lot more than anyone has reason to on Yome.
Mm.
So okay, play it cool. Just all right, we're gonna vibe. So once they're like when her bullshit detector starts going off, I'm just like, yeah. No, you're right.
You're right.
You're right, though.
Fair.
You're right.
You got us.
You're good. Yeah.
Why do you think I was so quiet most of the time?
Sometimes the
but
gamble
yes.
is to just like to be a bit more candid about it, share a little something to not seem like you're trying to get one over on somebody, and just really try to edge it so that you're on the same page, like game recognized game.
Yeah. And none of us really had that Yome look about them anyway. I mean, me least of all.
Given, we're packing equipment and everything that the average person in the free territories is not going to have.
And she and I are almost like we almost shop at the same Pacific Sun. Like
Yeah.
we had a very similar outfit. And I'm like, sup? Hey.
Yeah. She knows the Orange Julius. That's
Yeah.
near that.
Yeah.
I'll be honest though, with the name dropping of the ship, God, you had me wanting to go back to Jenka.
I wanted to play Nai again. Oh my god, I still want to play Nai again. Because nobody uncovered Nai's secret.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was a one shot, but yeah, you had your character, I had mine. I mean, like way more detailed than I should have for just that one shot.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that one shot was
That's
very
how you
much based on the old kind of adventures that when I ran my friends back in 3.0, 3.5 on the Rift Jumper, just going around doing different stuff. Based on that, heavily.
That was sick. Oh god, the next session. So we're gonna be doing the next section on Monday since we
Yeah,
had kind of a
we'll play again
forced
next
off
week.
day.
Yeah, basically last week was our off week at this point.
Okay. Sorry again.
No worries. I'm glad we got to play today.
Yeah, you better
I've
be
been
fucking
excited.
sorry, says the other guy who didn't show up.
A koosh ball at you and a koosh ball at you. Thud.
Yeah. Now you
But
see why I
balls.
was very reluctant to do any of this without some of you.
I mean, theoretically,
No.
with those of us in attendance, we could on the obligatory filler beach episode. We somehow found a beach in the middle of bumflap nowhere in the continent.
Beach
You know, just-
episode.
Just complete just shits and giggles, have fun, and minor consequences for the rest of the
Only-
campaign.
Honestly, it would be. I mean, I'm not gonna do that because I kind of want to play it too. But I would love to just watch Slappy try to pilot the conversation between Wanulins and Rivet Shore.
Fuck you. Oh my god.
That would be fun to watch.
But yeah, so that's the plan. Is next week we'll meet again. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Fuck yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna send you all to. We got someone who has dropped in that I haven't seen in a while. We have Super Ninbao, who has showed up once again, and he's Chivo hunting in Ninja Gaiden 3. Which is it's whatever. We're going from D&D to retro, and I don't give a fuck. I
go
send people
shoot.
into retro because I like the streamer, and Nimbao's a sweetie. So he's using his little PNG tuber that shakes its little 8-bit booty. So hey, that's always good. We want booty, no matter. Oh my god, I freeze framed right on the booty shake. Perfect. It's wonderful. So here we go. Brady's. Oh, wait a minute. Oh yeah, Brady Sucky Boy is streaming, but it's too late. I already said Ninbao. Oh shit, I don't know.
Next time. Next time.
Yeah, next time we'll do Brady Sucky Boy. Who's fucking beautiful. Oh my god, he's so. Or they. Yeah, they are so fucking hot. Let's go to. Raid.
On my end, I'm going to be sending you all over to Cody. No big fancy name here.
I like that. Keep it simple. Just Cody.
Yeah. Wolf, if I'm not misunderstanding his avatar, who is doing the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. So you're going to be going from
Nice.
D&D to older D&D, I guess.
Fantasy to fantasy.
Yeah.
The last good Elder Scrolls game.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, I said it.
Bruh.
I don't play Elder Scrolls. So
None of them were good. The community made them good.
You know, that's actually a good point. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I'm like, you had the strip club in Saint Denis, sure, but the real fuck mods belong to Skyrim.
Anyways, thank you all for watching. If you like the content, please consider following. And if you really like it, please consider spreading the word. I'm trying to get going here on Twitch, and every little bit helps. Yeah, so send the love over to Cody's reality, and let's see you all next time. Johnny.
And indeed, let's give that love to Super Ninbao. Give him a ride on that meat train with, of course, a Slabadugasm. But if you don't have a Slabadugasm, I am hurt. But get it. Subscribe. It's just that easy. Or use any gasm you got, because what's a gasm between friends after all? We'll see you next time. Fucking, who knows when. I have lots of audios to do for Pride, so I'm going to be doing that most of the week, so I probably won't be streaming off schedule. So come back on Saturday. Nope, that's Pride. Come back maybe Sunday. I don't know. Come back Monday. That one we can promise, I think. Maybe. No promises, but promises. I'll see you next time. Till then, stay easy. Mwah. Sparkle.